Imagine you're a 7-year-old boy walking home from school. A friendly man asks you for help. You say yes, and just like that, your life is turned upside down. This isn't a movie plot, it's the true story of Steven Stayner, a story that begins with a kidnapping but ends in a way no one could have ever predicted. It was December 4, 1972, in Merced, California. 7-year-old Steven was on his usual walk home from school when he was approached by a man named Kenneth Parnell. Parnell, accompanied by another man, told Steven his parents had been in an accident and he was there to take him to them. It was a lie, a cruel trick that would steal Steven's childhood. Parnell took Steven and began a new life on the run, giving him a new name, Dennis Parnell. For the next 7 years, Steven, now Dennis, lived a life of isolation and abuse. Parnell moved them frequently, from one remote cabin to another across Northern California. He enrolled Steven in various schools under his new name, constantly reinforcing the lie that he was his son. Steven was told his real family didn't want him anymore, that they had given him away. Imagine a young child, confused and terrified, slowly starting to believe these lies. He was just a boy, and his abductor was the only adult figure in his life. The psychological manipulation was intense. Steven later recalled that he had opportunities to escape, but was too scared and brainwashed to take them. He was trapped not just by physical walls, but by the invisible cage of fear and manipulation Parnell had built around him. The years passed. Steven grew from a little boy into a teenager. Parnell's control over him was absolute. But in 1980, something shifted. Parnell decided he wanted a younger boy. In February of that year, he abducted another child, 5-year-old Timothy White, from Ukiah, California. Parnell brought little Timmy back to the cabin where he lived with the now 14-year-old Steven. Parnell gave Timmy a new name, just as he had done with Steven. Seeing this little boy, so scared and confused, something broke inside Steven. He saw his own 7-year-old self in Timmy's eyes. He knew he couldn't let another child endure what he had gone through. All the years of suppressed memories, of his real family, his real name, came flooding back. He knew he had to do something. He had to save Timmy, and in doing so, save himself. One night, just a few weeks after Timmy's abduction, Steven made a brave decision. He told Timmy, "We're going to my real home." Under the cover of darkness. He took Timmy's hand, and they walked away from the cabin. They hitched a ride, a terrifying risk, but their only option. Their destination was a police station. They walked for miles, with Steven reassuring the younger boy the whole way. Finally, they reached the Ukiah police station. Steven, a teenager who had been called Dennis for half his life, walked in and declared, "My name is Steven Stayner. I was kidnapped 7 years ago." The police were initially skeptical. The name Steven Stayner wasn't in any recent missing person reports. But Steven was persistent. He remembered details about his family, about his life before he was taken. The police started making calls. When they finally contacted the Merced Police Department, an officer remembered the old, cold case of the little boy who vanished without a trace. The pieces started to click into place. They called his parents, Kay and Del Stayner. Can you imagine getting that phone call? After 7 years of heartbreak, of not knowing if your son was alive or dead, to hear that he's been found, it was a miracle. The reunion was emotional and overwhelming. Steven was finally back with his family, but the reunion was not the fairy tale ending everyone hoped for. Steven was a stranger to his own family. His parents and 4 siblings had aged 7 years. He had a younger brother he'd never even met. He had been Dennis for so long that reintegrating into his old life as Steven was incredibly difficult. The world had moved on without him. He struggled with the trauma, with the media attention, and with the immense pressure to be the miracle boy. Despite the struggles, Steven tried to build a normal life. He got married, had 2 children, and worked to put the past behind him. His heroic rescue of Timothy White was never forgotten. He was a hero who had saved another child from the same fate he had endured. But Steven's story is intertwined with a darker family tragedy. His older brother, Cary Stayner, seemed to be his biggest supporter after his return. Cary was quiet, seemingly protective of his younger brother, who had been through so much. But beneath the surface, Cary was battling his own demons. Years later, in 1999, Cary Stayner would become infamous for a series of brutal murders near Yosemite National Park. During his confession, Cary chillingly claimed that his rage and jealousy over the attention Steven received after his return contributed to his own dark path. The Stayner family, who had already endured the unimaginable pain of a kidnapping, was now faced with the horror of having a serial killer in their midst. Tragically, Steven never lived to see this horrifying chapter unfold. In 1989, at the age of 24, Steven Stayner was killed in a motorcycle accident. His life, which had been stolen once by a kidnapper, was cut short again. He was a father, a husband, and a hero who had found his way home against all odds. only to be taken away for good just 9 years later. The story of Steven Stayner is a complex and heartbreaking tale of survival, heroism, and the deep, lasting scars of trauma. It reminds us of the resilience of the human spirit, but also of the fragile nature of life and happiness. Steven's bravery saved a little boy's life and brought himself home. A moment of incredible light in a story filled with so much darkness. His legacy is not just about the tragedy he endured, but the heroic choice he made to break the cycle and save another. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as compelling as I did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more incredible true stories. See you next time.